All right, Cerryia, what do you say we take it to the max? How are you, my girl? How are things?
So good. Just chilling out over here. What about you?
Doing great. Living my best life right now because this is, of course, our favorite season.
Yes.
It's renewal season. So let's
Woo!
go over literally the best time of the year. It's like if Christmas and New Year's and Halloween all had one magical baby, it would be
Mhm.
renewal season for us.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about a few things though, and then I'm going to get into my takeaways from NBA annual, which happened
Love
last
it.
week. But I want to cover these things because we, as an education provider, get asked renewal questions basically all year long. But
Yeah.
man, do they ramp up at the end of the year naturally. It makes sense.
Mhm.
So let's go through a couple of just key tips for everyone. One, when does the renewal season actually open? Renewal season, again, very general term that we like to use, but the
Yes.
actual renewal period opens up on November 1st. It does technically run through December 31st. However, if you are submitting your renewals after like December 15th, there's a very good possibility you are not going to have your licenses re-approved for the following calendar year.
Mhm.
Something that people get very confused about is that they are completing their 2025 education this year, right? It's your 2025 education, but it's for your 2026 renewal. So keep
Yes.
that in mind. The 2026 renewal, you're renewing your license for the following year. You do always have to complete at a minimum 8 hours. That is the bare minimum. Now, I shouldn't say every, the majority of states have additional elective hours that they are
Yep.
known as state specific elective hours. These state specific hours range anywhere from 1 hour to upwards of 4 hours, depending on the state. So keep that in mind. Also, some states do have early education deadlines. For example, we have Georgia's coming right up. October 31st is Georgia's education deadline. What does that mean? It means you need to have your education completed and submitted by October 31st. Otherwise, you are technically you're late on an education deadline. Well, it depends on the state. Maybe they're going to fine you. Maybe they just won't guarantee that your license will be renewed in time for January 1. What
Mhm.
happens if your license isn't renewed by January 1? Well, Sari, I'm glad you asked. You cannot originate. You cannot originate if your license is not active on January 1, you have to pause origination activities. Who wants to do
Mhm.
that? No one wants to do that. What
What?
happens? I know, weird, right? What happens if you decide to keep originating even though you were late renewing your license? Oh, that's right. That's a Safe Act violation, and you can be fined for it. You can have
Mhm.
your license revoked. It is technically acting without a license at that point. So
Right.
that is why it is so essential to get your information completed on time. What about, let's see, what are my other things? Oh, here's a great one. Hey, I completed my education. That's good enough, right? No, that's
No.
why we're doing this. You
Yeah.
need to actually renew your license through
Mhm.
the NMLS's website. But Syria, you helped me pick out my education. What do
Sure
you
did.
mean you didn't renew my license for me?
Sure can't. That's
That's
on
right.
you, buddy.
That's right. We, as your education provider, do not renew your license for you. We get that call every single first of the year. Every
Mhm.
single one. I have been in this industry now for almost 15 years, and I can assure you, come January 2nd, there is always at least one person a day calling and saying, "But you didn't renew my license for me." You're damn right I didn't, nor will I
Mm,
ever. It's
correct.
not on me. I renewed my license as a provider. I will not renew your license. You're right. Sorry, I'm not going to renew your $400 license based on the $36 education you took from me.
Oh, we're so mean.
I know. I guess maybe going forward, that could be an
Mhm.
idea that I'll consider. No, I don't want the liability of it. That sounds like a
Not at
terrible
all.
plan. That sounds
Your
like a terrible
license,
plan.
your problem. I guess
That's it.
responsibility if we're going to be kind and,
The
respectful about
yes.
it.
Yes.
Mhm.
You do have to, and when I say you, I mean those of you who are listening, please forgive the kind of harsh and joking tone that we take about this. But again, after 15 years of hearing and being accused of not renewing people's licenses, I really am I'm over it. So renew
Yeah.
your license. It's how you make your money. Be
Yes.
be accountable for it.
Mhm.
So there's that. Your employer does also have to reconfirm that they are going to continue sponsoring your license, which again is why doing this early is so smart.
Mhm.
So the period again opens up November 1st. You can complete your education anytime through the year. There's another question that we get a lot of,
Yeah.
but LaDonna, I thought I had to wait until November 1st to do my education. No, that is
Er
just that is just for the renewal period to start. You can take your education for the year on January 1. You can do it immediately in the calendar year, right?
Yeah.
But don't get the two confused. As a matter of fact, we as an education provider would love for you to take your education early. We do have
Mhm.
up to 7 calendar days to report your hours to the NMLS. We do take care of that portion for you. However, if you're waiting until Christmas Day, you waited until December 25th to complete your education, and you're blowing our phone lines up on December 26th to get your hours reported, yeah, we're probably going to do it, but I'm not going to be proud of you. That's really kind of it.
Right,
We
and what are we striving for if not for your approval in all things?
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Let me be proud of you people. I know you can
Right?
do it. Please, please do
Mhm.
it. So, and again, keep in mind some states do actually want you to renew early and have their own deadlines. There are things that you'll hear thrown around like the SMART deadline, the at risk deadline, the guaranteed to miss deadline. All of
Mhm.
those deadlines are there to basically say, just get your license renewed. Just
Right.
do it. Just
And
get your
which
license renewed.
dates are those in December?
Great question. Off the top of my head, I don't remember all of them. But, you know, y'all, again, these are your licenses. Be accountable. Do what you need to do to take care of it.
Yeah.
If you miss your renewal, let's say you forgot or you didn't think you were going to renew your license, or maybe you have 50 licenses and this year you only wanted to renew 36 of them, but then you get into 2026 and you're like, gosh, I didn't renew Idaho and Idaho is now popping. I really want that license back. What do you
Mhm.
need to do? Well, most likely you probably have late CE, late continuing education that you need to complete. This is only applicable if you did not complete the education the prior calendar year for the states in which you're looking to renew. So
Mhm.
late CE, you will have late fees that you'll need to pay, plus the fee to reinstate and reactivate your license.
Right.
So there is that. There are some states who charge by the day. For every day that you're late, they charge a per diem. Hawaii is one of them.
Wow.
So if you when in doubt, renew it out, right?
Yeah.
Just renew it. It's so much easier. It
Mhm.
really is, and it sets you up for better success. Um, and it's going to keep you out of your education and compliance manager's office, and they're going to love you for that. They've got enough babysitting going on. Don't make them babysit you as well. I feel like
They
that's
will be
become the
proud of you.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I feel like that's kind of become the overarching theme of this is me just
Yes.
lecturing everyone at this point. So I will get
Tune
off
in, listen
it.
in. She the Professor Ladonna is behind her little what's it called?
On
The
my
stand at the front of
soapbox.
the class.
The
Yes.
pulpit. I'm at my
The pul
pulpit.
You're at your pulpit, and you're preaching, and we're listening, we're taking this in.
You are not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, again, I obviously love this industry. I love
Right.
what we do. It is not the most glamorous part of this industry by any
No.
means. And I've been doing it for a really long time. So I have fueled and funneled a lot of these calls. I want people to be as prepared as possible, and it's really not that hard of a process, so I know you all can do it.
Yes.
Now let's shift gears, and I will quit lecturing everyone. Let's talk about I know, breathe that deep sigh of relief, it feels good. Let's talk about MBA, about Annual,
Yes, let me hear
where
about
I
it.
was last week. It was great. It was great.
Mhm.
It was jam-packed, full of sessions, full of just meeting with other wonderful leaders in this space. MBA Annual is definitely where you go to see kind of the who's who in the banking side of this industry.
Yeah.
And I'm always really appreciative of kind of comparing and contrasting between mortgage bankers and mortgage brokers
Mhm.
versus even just our typical daily MLOs. There really is a difference between the three groups, and it's just nice to expand upon who you are surrounding yourself with. So,
Mhm.
really, really always appreciate it for that. Now, again, kind of on the banker side of things, if it's an IMB and they have to be licensed, great. Those are people that we want. We need those LOs on this side of things. Again, you all pay our bills. We really like you over here.
Yes,
We
we
need you
do,
to
I
come over.
promise.
We do so much. I love and adore you people. Um, but there's always still so much that comes out of these conferences, even if I'm not interacting with licensed individuals. Actually, I'll share a quick story today
Yes.
that I had a phone call about this morning. I was on the phone with someone who focuses more on the investor side of things. And they were like, "Yeah, my one of my investors called me up today and they're pretty piping because we pulled their credit report and they called us and they were like, "Hey, we've been blown up with 50 different phone calls already today, all because you sold our data when you pulled our credit
Mm,
report." And he was like, "Number 1, if you're getting that many calls, that's a problem. That means, like, we did not sell your data, but, the credit companies did." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, time out. Are you telling me you don't know what trigger leads are?"
wait, what? They really didn't know?
Yeah,
How
really
do you
didn't know that that's I know, really did
Huh.
not understand that that is what happens right now to these borrowers, to these
Yeah.
consumers who have their credit pulled. And yes,
Mhm.
they have been made illegal. And yes, I understand that that is pending going into actual practice. But even when it does go into actual practice, there are still some exceptions to it.
Yeah.
These are things that we as an industry need to, and again, I'll be careful about how I say this. I'm not expecting you to be an expert in everyone else's business, but I
Correct.
do expect you to be an expert in the mortgage industry, in the housing ecosystem. I do expect that. And I think that's where coming together at these live events really does help. It really does. It opens your eyes. It lends a voice to some of those different areas of the market that maybe you yourself aren't involved in, but that you should know in about.
Yeah.
And as the experts in this space, the people who literally pay our bills based on this industry, do what it takes to educate yourself a little more,
Mhm.
have a little different outreach, source a couple different articles a day that you're reading to really keep you on top of what is going on within the market.
Yeah.
And that's something that I feel like the NBA does a fantastic job about. I mean, let's shout out MAA, the Mortgage Action Alliance, Mortgage Alliance. Oh my gosh, Mortgage Action Alliance. I'm pretty sure, um,
Okay.
who help to take on trigger leads and really champion the cause for it. So I
Yeah.
think that is so critical and so essential. So make sure that
Absolutely.
you are doing what you can to get outside of yourself a bit more. Find those
Mhm.
advocacy. Again, this is another soapbox moment. Find those advocacy opportunities to be that voice within your industry, within your community, within your company,
Mhm.
etc. I do want to shift to AI, but just quickly,
'Kay.
because man, is it on my mind right now. I don't
Mhm.
know if you've seen it yet today. Have you seen the news about the layoffs coming at Amazon, at Target, at Walmart, at
No.
yeah,
Wow.
massive layoffs. Amazon's announced layoffs will be the largest in their entire history, and it is directly correlated to their utilization of AI.
Mhm.
And they are they're not denying it. And if anything, they're saying, yeah, and we have 300,000 robots that are coming along that will be displacing others sooner rather than later.
Mhm.
AI and the innovation that it poses to us is massive, of course. The opportunities that come from being an early adopter to utilizing it to getting some of your time back,
Yeah.
massive. Of course, I'm going to champion that. However, we need to also consider this from a broader scale, not
Mhm.
just from, and again, when I'm using the term housing ecosystem, this is exactly what I mean. Of we need to not only look at how it affects us and the efficiencies that we're going to be able to put into place because of it, we
Right.
need to be considering how it's about to affect the market, how it's about to affect our consumers, how it's about
Mhm.
to affect the people who maybe were in the home buying process and now don't have a job or just
Right.
lost their second job or in some cases their third job, right? This is going to be far reaching. And there's just something in my gut that tells me that we are not, we're not taking it as serious as we should.
Right.
And that worries me. I think economically, over the next year, we know that the projections are set to be about the same as what they were in 2025. It's not going to be a huge boom year for anyone by any means, but
Mhm.
The efficiencies hopefully put into place by AI will make originating a loan a little bit cheaper. We love
Yeah.
that. We love that because
Yes.
those are costs that we can pass on to the consumer. We can make the loan process cheaper. Again, here's my concern though. Corporations, when there's constricture, need to pad where they have to pad. And so
Mhm.
even if they're able to save money that could potentially be passed on to the consumer, if they're originating a couple less because less people qualify, where are they going to make that money up? There
Mhm.
really are just some very real challenges that I think are sitting ahead of us.
Yeah.
And I don't wanna be doom and gloom. That's not my natural disposition. But
Yes.
I will say right now, I'm nervous. I'm nervous about this. I don't like the ramifications that I think are going to come from this, and I don't
Mhm.
think we're looking far enough ahead in the future to really plan properly.
Right.
And I think now, again, my default will always be education, education, education. Right
Yes.
now is the time where you should be educating yourself so that you can diversify the types of products that you offer, because maybe this borrower of yours who just lost their second job, but that is working in the gig economy can use some of that income to qualify, but you don't have access to the types of loans that maybe you would need in order to do that.
Mhm.
There's all sorts of just different lines and avenues that I'm looking at that I think people really should be considering. And
Mhm.
hope, I genuinely and sincerely hope that with the time inefficiencies that were being handed back, by utilizing AI, we're spending it wisely. We
Yeah.
are taking the time to improve upon ourselves and our processes so that we can withstand and thrive and make it a strong year in 2026. I will say attendance at the past few events that I have been to has been up. I love
Mhm.
that. I love seeing people at live events, and I really do think it's because so many people who the people who are left in the industry
Mhm.
are the people who take it serious. They are the ones who want to
Yes.
do everything that they can to succeed. So there's a lot of good that I am seeing as well. One
Mhm.
last thing that I'll champion, and then, we'll call this. Let's do a better job. And again, this is something you're going to hear me talk about so much more in 2026. We need more young talent in this industry because
Yes.
these are the people who are going to give us those fresh perspectives that we need in order to adapt and be better resources
Yeah.
for this this current housing market. We need more young people in this.
Mhm.
So, as a challenge to anyone listening, please think and do what you can to champion this cause. We've got to do it. Okay, well, that wraps up LaDonna on her soapbox for this week. I'm so
Hey,
glad
happy to
you could be here.
facilitate at any time. I feel like whenever I come on, I'm like, "Yes, girl, just go off." I'm affirming. I'm here for it. Absolutely.
I know. One day I'll have you back here to actually chime in. How's that?
I can say things out of yeah, I promise. To people
I'll
listening,
have
not to
you
you.
back
It's like a promise.
to really, yes, you will contribute. I promise. I promise. Just not today because now I gotta jump. But girl,
Oh, yeah,
I
you're
adore
good.
you. Thank you for doing everything that you do. If you get a chance, find Cerryia at one of our live events and live classes. You will love her just as much as I do, I promise. And share this with a friend, like, subscribe. I do this every week, and I don't do it for my health. I do it because I want to see us all improve as an industry. So let's get at it together, and let's take this renewal season to the max.
Max.